Ready for the interview coming up? Yes, for the most part. But I want to just kind of make sure, and I wanted to give the community a chance to suggest any questions. Hey, nerd. So I'm doing a interview tomorrow with a, I believe it's a senior game designer over at Riot. So that's happening tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern time. And so I've already made up a whole bunch of questions, but I wanted to give people opportunity to suggest any questions, and if I thought they were really good, I might possibly ask them tomorrow. So we'll see. And then also, while we're doing that, figured we'd just go through on my lower level account, because I haven't really shown it off for a while. I think it's progressing pretty well. If you miss it, it's obviously going to be posted on the main YouTube channel later that day. So that will still be coming out. I won't stream tomorrow morning. The whole morning time when I'd normally be streaming. I'm just going to be trying to go through and make sure everything is set up and ready to go for the interview. Because kind of a big deal for me. It's my first interview with Riot, so hopefully it goes well, and hopefully we can do more interviews in the future so we can start getting some more communication going with the devs, which I think would be pretty awesome. Hello, Vaccine. I've actually gotten... Wait, hi Jump, I'm back again. I had to work so much I couldn't watch streams regularly. Well, it's nice to have you back. I got pretty lucky with this account. Like, I got 3-star Volibear without actually having to spend shards on it, which is pretty amazing. And then I got a whole bunch for Nami and Morgana, another one that is super strong that I was able to get. I also have a pretty big stockpile of wild fragments at the moment because I haven't spent any in a long time. Yeah, Volibear is amazing. So I have done all of the regions. The last one I have is I need to complete Aurelion Soul with a Runeterra champion. And then I just need Lysandra. So everything else for the account has been done. All of my chapter quests, all gone. And yeah, so I have 20 of the champions. As you see, everyone's pretty low level. Like, I don't have many over level 20. Runeterra, are you going to use Jhin? It's been actually pretty much a struggle for me because I've tried Aatrox, but Aatrox has just been too slow. So, like, I would be able to blast through the entire encounter and then get to Aurelion Soul and then just get stomped. So that's been rough. So yeah, I was trying Aatrox because he's the one I had. I have Evelyn, but Evelyn needs more relics. She just needs levels. The Crown Guard Inheritance is kind of the worst one to have to start. So I think I'll actually switch that out for Deceiver's Crest. What I really need is the Yasuo Relic. But to get the Yasuo Relic, you need Misfortune. She's the one that drops it. And I don't have any fragments for her. And Misfortune's not really that good, so I don't really want to spend the fragments to unlock Misfortune, and then the fragments to get her up to 2 stars so I unlock the quest, just for Tempest Blade. So that's a bit of a struggle for me. And those might be the only 2 Runeterra champions that I actually have. It's Brian. Brian, I think his name is Plek, the last one. I need to... That's one of the things I need to ask him tomorrow. It's just like, I don't want to mess up your last name. But Brian, when I was streaming all the new stuff that came out, for the last patch, he's one that hopped in my chat and talked for a bit, and then he also interacts with people over on Reddit sometimes. Can I make an interview command? I mean, I can, but for what? Yeah, I felt bad for him because he subscribed and I was like, I remember, I've like recognized that name. I was like, aren't you a Rioter? And he was like, yep. And then immediately everyone just like swarmed him with questions, and I felt kind of bad for him. And then people took snippets of his responses and then put it on Reddit, and then everyone went nuts over that. And so he had then come out and clarify more what he was talking about. Yeah, it was a bit of a mess. Oh, poor guy. Best Runeterra champions. Especially, like, we could get Jax. Jax is really good. It was around the time Riot scammed me. Oh. Forget what happened to you. But that was kind of around the time I think people were having problems on their phones. Jax, Jhin, both of those would be pretty good. I think I might unlock Jax potentially. Let's look at relics. Jax with full build. Oh, you had issues with Wild Rift? That sucks. Elder Dragon is great once you level him all the way up and once you have epic relics. But we're not really going to be able to do that on this low level account. I think Jax is probably going to be the most beginner friendly. Like, Jhin is really good, but again, I really like Jhin for some of the builds you can do with him. And we have a very limited relic selection at the moment. Like, it's interesting having to come up builds with this more limited account. It just sucks that we haven't gotten any positions for him. Yeah, Jin's very good. A lot of fun. I think let's just hop in for now and get our daily quest done and try to complete this weekly. Let's see, Senna, Evelyn, Vi. Sure, let's do Vi Jinx. Sure, let's go for Scribe. So if you guys have any question suggestions for Riot, go ahead and throw them out. Is Twitch okay? I got ad every minute while watching. While watching me? You should only get an ad when you first join the stream, because I have ads turned off for my channel because I don't want to make a worse viewing experience.
You can see the Nebastian border from here.
You guys aren't getting ads, right?
I'm on it.
Because the only ads you should get is when you first join, because Twitch does that automatically. There's not really anything I can do to stop it, sadly. Let's drop this here.
Hear that? Gotcha.
I'm mostly concerned about constellations, but I don't know if that qualifies as spoiler leaks. So yes, I will be asking about constellations. I'm thinking that there's a decent chance that the next patch is constellations, which should be later this month, as in like a couple weeks from now. Like probably more than one, but pretty soon it's going to be patched, and so they might be able to actually reveal stuff on stream. If the patch is just like a week or two away, then they might be like, okay, yeah, we can tell you guys some more information now that's pretty close. Or if it's not close, then they can let us know that too. Man, this is 3 damage. Wow. Can you ask what we're gonna be in the update 22nd? Is it gonna be new champs?
Can't afford to miss.
Potentially. So one thing I'll probably do is I'll probably ask like about constellations, being like trying to get some more information on that. And if it seems like we're not getting constellations this next patch, then yes, that's would be a good thing of like, okay, if this next patch isn't constellations, what is it? What's happening? What are we getting? What can we expect from this patch? Yeah, let's just go here. Ah, nailed it. Beautiful. Is it going to be branch or linear? That is actually a good thing to... That's a good follow-up question. I'm just taking notes. If they've already figured out how to do the new expansion. Yes. So that is one thing I am also going to be roughly asking about, is the content going forward. As in, we don't have expansions anymore because we don't have them every like 3 months. They said that format is changing. That's the old format. How can we expect content going forward, essentially? I actually have like several questions being like, we're moving from PvP to PvE as the focus. And so far we haven't really seen the turnaround or the change from that, because last patch was still the last like PvP patch. So it's like, how is this game going to change going forward? How is content going to change going forward? So I have several different questions that are kind of focused more on the scope of the game overall, and not just Path of Champions, just like, how is the game going to change? Which should be good for everyone, even if you're not a Path of Champions focused player. You can still get some information on how the game's gonna work moving forward. But yeah, the constellations, that is a very good follow-up, being like, what we've shown so far, are we able to choose different paths to be able to prioritize different powers, get those first, because it looks like a branching pathway? Or is this just, you get one point, then the next point, next point, there's no choice involved, it's just a linear progression? if they're gonna progress in terms of marketing, because no one basically knows about it, I think they are finally going to add the... They're finally going to add the button for LOR, like a launcher button, into the main platform of League of Legends.
A foray into the field? How exciting.
So that should hopefully help.
I brought my book. Hope that's all right.
I think they marketed it a lot when the first game first came out. The issue is it's a niche game genre, so I feel like
Does death follow me?
they think that the people that know about it, or the people that are interested, are already going to know about it.
You're disrupting my research.
Because like if you're one of the people that likes these type of card games, you've probably heard about it before. I'm guessing that's the thing behind it, but more marketing would always be helpful. Although that being said, does Riot really market any of their games really outside of their games? I feel like most of their marketing, since they have such a huge audience between all of their different games, I feel like most of their marketing is in one of their games for their other ones. So they kind of give you maybe heads up about what's happening in their other games. Or they put on like videos on YouTube or Twitter. I feel like they maybe don't do that much marketing for any of their games, because I haven't seen anything for League of Legends, Valorant. Yeah, it's more just they market the game when it first comes out, but then they figure they are a big enough company that everyone's gonna hear about it just because Gamer Circle's gonna talk about the new games. TFT and LOR marketing does not exist at all. I think esports is doing most of the marketing. Yeah, I think they're just letting their kind of natural marketing happen, is what it feels like. If they put LOR in League, it would be a sad day for me, because my LOR account with Valorant is different from League. I can only pay to merge my account. If only I could pay. Yeah, I had the same thing happen. I screwed up when I was trying to link my accounts, and I did it wrong, and so my League of Legends account and my League of Legends account is linked with this low-level account, not my main account. Cam Cloaker is always good. Get a common power. Oh, sure. We already have one of those. I think we do. Yeah, this will be interesting. Let's cut this. We're probably never gonna play it.
Huh? You want me? Well, okay.
I've definitely seen stuff for Wild Rift. They don't plan on putting LOR into League. They're just planning on putting a button to advertise. Yeah, like in the launcher in like the top corner, there's supposed to be a little button that you can click to go into Legends of Runeterra, but they're not merging it all into like one game because that would be too big. This is fine. But that way people will see the button every time when they're playing League, and there's, you know, the millions upon millions of people that play that game, I assume still, that will be able to be like, oh, I wonder what that is. Click on it, go and see. So hopefully that will help. I know some people are kind of salty that that's happening after the game has moved to PvE. But it's already tedious to log into your accounts, right? You can just log into one account on the Riot client. I mean, yeah, you can log into the Riot client, and that's supposed to show you your different games, I believe. For me on my account, it just shows Legends of Runeterra.
Just keeping the peace.
can I help?
I just know the hero's around here somewhere.
Wait, is it just for PC or also mobile? I assume it's just for the PC League of Legends.
That's a good one.
That being said, I've never opened up Wild Rift. I have no idea if it would be coming there.
This mama is the beast mama.
Rules are made to be broken.
For buildings, for people. I'll give you to the count of rise up.
All right, any other questions people are thinking for the interview that they want brought up or they have concerns about?
See ya.
I'm just pulling up, looking at some of my questions. Oh, another thing that's going to be interesting that... Wait, will it be gacha to 6-star a champion? I mean, it is called Constellations, but I think Riot's going to be very
Bye-bye.
careful with their monetization, but we'll have to see. What are their plans for busted champs like Katarina or Fiora? Do you ask if they plan to add old champs? Was it mentioned already here? So I am planning on bringing up those older champions and saying like, hey, it's been great that we've gotten all the new champions from every expansion for the past couple expansions. Fantastic, wonderful. When are we going to start getting some of the older champions? Because like, yes, we got Nora, but that's kind of been it for a while. Anything else we can expect? So that would kind of be the busted champions like Katarina and Fiora would probably tied under that. I'm pretty sure if I just asked specifically about those champions, it'd probably just give like a pretty generic answer of like, oh yeah, we are planning on bringing all the champions to the game eventually. Maybe they plan on increasing rewards from previous adventures. Maybe if they plan on increasing rewards or adding another region. I hope they don't ruin the game. Yes, that's definitely all of us.
Plug and play.
Ask them if we're getting a Void expansion. I am gonna somewhat ask in broad strokes what their plans are moving forward as far as content. Like, are there gonna be any new game modes? Are you guys trying to get any new adventures? Are you doing new regions? Is there anything in the game that's coming other than what we've had recently of like new champions, new relics, new items, new powers? Like, they're adding more to the game, which is great with all of those different features, but it's like,
I'm on it.
other than that type of content which we've been getting, is there anything else we could expect? They said they didn't want to introduce other regions, so I think that was as far as cards. Like, they don't want to introduce any other regions as far as Like, this card is from Shurima, this card is a Shadow Isles card, this card is a Runeterra card. So as far as regions like that, they probably wouldn't want to do it, but they could introduce regions for adventures. Like, the Void might not be a region cards are from, but it could be a there could be a Void adventure, maybe. That being said, a lot of this that they wanted to do was because of PvP. Maybe that they would just say, hey, here's a new region of cards that's Void. These are broken and they're not going to be in PvP. So maybe they add Path of Champions only regions, which would be interesting. Belveth with quadruple attack. I think they also need to add... They don't need to add new regions. I think regions don't fulfill any purpose outside of drafting cards. On the other hand, adding Void to the map like a boss like Belveth could be working. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, they can add regions as far as places for adventures to take place. I don't, like, they've said they're not going to do regions as far as card regions. She gets one more attack each round. Scaling Belveth. Ask about co-op Path of Champions or versus modes. Yes, I am gonna be asking a question that is kind of fulfilling those roles. Are they going to release new cards in celebration to anniversary and the launch of Arcane in November?
Finally!
I feel like November's a little bit too far away. Like, I feel like most of my questions are more for the nearer future. I feel like for something in November, they're not going to answer anything for something so far away. If I maybe get another interview in a couple months, then that would be perfect for then. We're also missing a Bandle adventure, right? Yeah, we don't have Bandle City on the map.
Yeah! Hey-o!
Yeah, I'd love Void as a region for adventure. I really want basic hierarchy of the Void as an adventure. Rapidly growing difficulty would be so cool. And powers based on adapting and overcoming. My main jungler in League was Kha'Zix. I would love to see him as a card. In LOR, Riot, please. Yes, Kha'Zix, especially because he's all about evolving. He could be really interesting. Wow, that's actually decimating a lot of our board. Rip. Ask them if we could implement a repeat mode for monthly. That way you could get more rewards. I mean, I think a lot of people want to redo monthlies just so they can try it again with different people. I don't think they wouldn't want to redo monthlies for people to get extra rewards, because if you do that, then everyone feels like they have to do that. If there's rewards in the game that people aren't getting, they get really annoyed by that. And people already kind of don't really like the monthlies that much. So if they add a repeat mode to get extra rewards, then people are going to be pissed. Like, I don't want to do more monthlies, and I feel like I'm forced to do it because I need to try to get these rewards. Sure. Ask them, or reducing cooldown on golden reliquaries. That would be... Golden reliquary cooldown would be very nice to get lower, because it is pretty rough. That being said, I think from Riot's perspective, it's working as intended because
How can I help?
right now people are like right about to finish or complete their collection, and then they keep adding another one. So this gives them time to like add a new monthly or a new epic every single month, which is I think what they're kind of trying.
Try to keep up.
Hello, Power Cuties. What's the interview?
Hello there.
So I'm doing an interview tomorrow with Brian.
That's a good one.
Brian Fleck, I believe is his name. And so I already have a whole bunch of questions set up, but I just wanted to let people or give people a opportunity to suggest any questions, and I'll potentially add those in if I think that's a really good question. So yeah, that's happening tomorrow. Should be pretty awesome. We aren't desperate for new content as we can't get everything in time.
Off we go. Slow down.
Let's just drop this here. And sure, get rid of that. Yes, so it'll be live on Twitch first, and then I'm going to put it up on YouTube. It'll be
Come on, Speedy Scoo.
tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern time. Sad. Now we'll just take the hit. You already have a cooldown because you don't get that much Stardust without the monthlies. True. That would kind of function as a cooldown.
Did that sound right?
The only issue is they give us extra ways to
Like
get
frogs.
Stardust, potentially from events. And so that cooldown is going to be not really functioning as a cooldown anymore. I feel like Golden Reliquaries, while it would be good to get a response on it, it's not as important as many others. So I think, depending on how the questions go, because it's going to be a little bit more of a back and forth, like sure, I'll ask a question, and then based on their response, I might be doing a follow-up question that's just continuing down kind of that train of thought. But if we have time, like I'm not sure exactly the time scale for how long the interview can be, but then that would be a nice question, to kind of a rapid fire question maybe of Golden Reliquaries. If the comment that the Golden Reliquaries cooldown is too long, I absolutely agree. Yeah, the cooldown, I know as players we all really hate it. I think from Riot's point of view, it's working as intended though.
I'll give you to the countess.
I think Riot wants us to always be having like one more thing to try to grind towards, and they don't really want people to be capped necessarily. So even though as players we really hate it, I think from Riot's point of view they're like, we kind of like this and we're not going to change it, but maybe they will. Ask if they're planning on nerfing anything and how they would do so. I don't really want to bring up nerfing.
We blew them all up.
I also don't want to, like, I'm not going to talk about like spectral scissors because I don't want to bring it up. I don't want to draw more of a focus to anything. Yeah, I think I'm going to stay away from nerfing as much as possible. Nero, this is just an account for me to kind of go back, see what it's like, the new player experience, level up some champions, try to go through content again, just for more perspective, and then I can also make some content about it. I can't imagine Riot truly believes it's working as intended. I mean, we'll see. Patrol wardens and misfortune. talk about buffing, it would never backfire. That is something I could talk about for constellations. Well, so the issue is I'm going to ask about constellations because we know almost nothing, and so I don't want to formulate questions based on our assumptions of how constellations will work before we really get to know what they're actually doing. I kind of feel like I want to make sure that they are using constellations to improve champions and not using them to fix champions. Like, I don't want them to be fixing Vex's problems with constellation. I want them to fix Vex and then add a constellation to make them more fun. Can you add some about champs with different win con effects like Fiora and Rise? Potentially, that would be an interesting one.
Fortune favors the bold.
Because that is one that I would, really enjoy, is more of those alternative ways to win. Ask them if, when constellations drop, are we getting new challenges or Lysandra Aurelian encounters on the monthlies without the ludicrous powers, of course.
Try to keep up.
I am asking that type of question, just not necessarily with the tie-in to constellations. So I will be asking about new content and what their plans are for new content moving forward. If we're gonna get new challenges, if we're gonna get new events, anything like that. True, we actually need to know what they have in mind to keep the game alive. Yes, because we've gotten a lot of content over the past couple months. It's been fantastic, but I kind of feel like while new champions are great, while new items, powers, relics, well, all of that is great stuff to have, and they've been doing a great job adding it. I feel like we need more than that to keep the game going. So, do they have any plans to do anything to help us out?
Nothing feels better than the sun on your scales.
Now I pack a punch.
Alright, GG. Jink's always good for mindlessly clearing adventures. In my opinion, they've been hyping constellations too much since January. I hope it doesn't disappoint us. Really? You think they've been hyping them up? I feel like they announced them and then they just never talked about it again. Like, unless I'm missing other places where they've been talking about it, I've pretty much just not seen anything about constellations for a while. Like, they announced them, they kind of teased that Nora was going to have this constellation of summoning champions. Hey look, Gatebreaker. but I haven't really seen any information about it in a while. The community's the one hyping it up? Yeah, that's definitely. Hey, Phantom, thank you for the subscribe. I appreciate the continued support. They announced them with a bang, in my opinion. The game was also quite silent for a second. Yeah, there's a lot of people talking about constellations, and everyone's just really speculating on how they think they're going to work. And so it's like, I want some more information from Riot so we can actually be a little bit more accurate in our speculation, because right now we have very few details on how they're actually going to work. It's like, okay, people are going to go up to 6 stars, and they're going to try to do one for like every region, I think. Aatrox and Nora are like 2 of the confirmed ones, but we don't really know actually how it's going to work yet. By the way, Toast, have you tried Jinx with Spectral Scissors and the Discard Your Hand relic? It's really fun. You keep discarding your hand back and forth if you have 2 Jinx on the board at least. I have not tried that. That definitely sounds interesting. That being said, I feel like that is very much a win more situation. Like, if you already have Spectral Scissors and you already have 2 copies, you've already won the game. The discarding your hand every time doesn't really seem like it probably does much. That being said, it's probably hilarious to see, and it's probably a great combo. Can I YouTube a link? Yes, go for it. It's useful for Lysandra. Potentially. That being said, if they have a Lysandra on the board, then it's tough, and then it's not going to do anything. So it's like, it might be useful for Lysandra, but it might also be useless for Lysandra. You might be doing all this damage with all the discards, but it's all getting blocked by tough because it's all in increments of 1. So Toast, how time consuming is making a new account? I've been requested to do this, but time is very limited. I mean, making a new account is not difficult at all. You just have to sign up again. I mean, the difficult thing is you have to try to keep on top of your daily and weeklies. So for me, Jinx was actually one that I invested the shards into getting her to 3 stars. That way I can quickly clear my content. I mean, playing through Asol or Lysandra, yes, that will be time consuming, because to get to the point of, I mean, you have to clear all the content in the game. So like for this one, I'm almost done Aurelion Soul, and I've been playing this account every day for like 2 months. And then for Lysandra, I haven't even touched it yet. To fully clear Lysandra, you're gonna need a long time. Because with a new level account, especially if you're not buying anything, which I've not spent any money on this account, you're not gonna have epic relics, you're not gonna have the best champions. Yeah, it'll take you a little while. Granted, even for Asol, I haven't been, like, you can do it faster if you want to throw more time into it, but yeah, it'll be rough. Which Runeterra champ you plan on using for Asol? So I think I'm probably gonna go for Jax. Although that being said, like, I have 2 solid Runeterra champions with Aatrox and Evelynn. The problem is Aatrox is kind of too slow at the moment. I've gone through and been able to like dominate the entire adventure up until Aesol, and then he just is too slow to really close out the game. So it's like I could invest the shards in just getting him to 3 stars, and then maybe try to use him instead of unlocking a whole nother character. However, getting a champion to 3 stars, not always the best, because then you're less likely to get more duplicate protection. Or you might get dupes that get converted at a worse rate. So yeah, I might just go for Jax. But I've kind of just been banking my wild fragments for a while. I haven't really touched this account other than dailies and weeklies for a little bit. I've beaten him with Aatrox. Yeah, like you can beat him as Aatrox. It's just a little bit more difficult. And I think last time I tried, he was like level 19. I wasn't level 20, so I didn't have the guaranteed draw. And then, do I have any Berserker's Buckles? Doesn't look like it. Let's see. No, I don't have a single Berserker's Buckle. So, yeah, Aatrox is a little bit tough right now. I do like the thought of having potentially a rapid fire question time. So having like one of the rapid fire questions just being like, is there going to be a change to Golden Reliquary cooldown? So they can just quickly say, yes, we're going to reduce it to this, or they're going to say, nope, we're not touching it at the moment. Yeah, I saw the link. I'm probably gonna watch the video after. Sure, let's just hop and do this. If any of you have any good, quick questions that are something that Riot can just be like, yes, this is happening, no, it's not. Any just simple questions that's not gonna take a big amount of explanation, that would be pretty good. Because, yeah, most of the questions I've made have all been more long, in-depth ones where they're set up so Riot could answer them very quickly, but they could also give us a lot of extra information about it. Yeah, I pulled up the video so I could remember to check it out later, but then immediately an ad popped up and was very loud.
You're gonna be sorry. I see you.
Yeah, if you can think of any other solid rapid fire questions, definitely let me know. That's one thing I haven't really done yet, and I don't know how much time I'm going to have necessarily in the interview. So some questions might just get cut for the sake of time. But it wouldn't be bad to have some solid, fast little ones that Riot can simply answer so we can get more information faster. I know there's a lot of things that as a community we want that Riot's probably just gonna be like, yeah, not happening. At least not for the near future.
We're doing it.
You think we'll have a new rarity of powers or legendaries? Will be the highest ones? I mean, legendary should be the highest. I think, yeah, I don't think they're going to add another power, or another tier of power above legendary. I think they'll just add more legendary powers. And like already we have a pretty big divide in the scope and powers of legendaries, because some can be very, very strong, and then some, like Unyielding, literally like will never activate, and it's just kind of often useless. Because normally if you need that as a power, then you're going to be struggling. And then even if you do need it as a power, having any of the other legendaries is probably going to help you out more in winning your match than just having the revive. Let's go for Lilia. Sure, let's go here. I have a question. Now that the game is focused on PvE, how do they intend on supporting the community going forward? Since almost all community support for since almost all of the community support has been for PvP in the past. Yeah, that's decent. There are 3 strong, 5 niche, and 2 useless legendaries. Yeah, the Undying Legion is one that makes me sad because I always get it on people that I don't have units die. And so it's like, yay, legendary power. But again, it's never activating because I don't actually have anyone die. Feels a little bad. Yeah, that is decent power cuties. I think that'll be one of the ones that, as long as I have time, I'll probably try to ask.
Showtime. Get him. Get back.
Because, yeah, that's true. Like, it's a little sad that I think I'm the largest content creator that's solely focused on PvE. I think, like, sure, there's like Sunny that's obviously way bigger than me, but he's still and was mostly a PvP focused individual. And yet I've been making content for a long time, or at least for me it seems like a long time, couple years, and I've never really been,
I won't stand by.
I've had almost no interaction with Riot.
I'll take on anyone. It wasn't me.
The money power one, the useless legendary. Endless Wealth? Is that what it's called? The not gold one? I kind of forget.
Better run.
My only interaction with Riot was basically me pestering them to do so. It's rough for us. Yeah. Yeah, that one. I mean, the other useless legendary. Let's go here. Yeah, Tridimir Revive. Hey, Toast, do you have like a newbie guide to Path of Champions? Yes, I do. I mean, not a VOD, like a YouTube video. I have a YouTube video, not something on Twitch. Let's see if I can quickly bring that up for you. I've made so many beginner guides in the past. All right, let's see. All right, so I think that should be a link for...
Hey everyone.
Yep. So that's a link to my beginner guide that I made a while ago, but that goes over kind of all the basics of the game and kind of what you want to be doing at the start. Buy cards, don't really care. I've been trying to get into other PvE content creators. I've been trying to get other PvE content creators. The Riot card back, for example, something they gave to random people that stream PvP once in their life. It's been 9 months now, not one of them have gotten their card back. It's frustrating. Yeah, they've always focused on the PvP side of the game because that's where most of the players were, or at least that was the thought process at the time. So hopefully now that the game is focusing on PvE, some of us PvE content creators can actually start having more of a dialogue and communication with them. Granted, I think this interview is great. I'm so happy the fact that I'm actually getting this interview because, yeah, like I've had no interactions with Riot previously. Well, not no, but very limited interactions. What other PvE content creators? I thought you were the only one. There's a couple others. Like, I mean, Cacti's pretty much gone, apparently. Like, he hasn't posted anything in a long time. Power Creators does stuff, especially focused on, like, the monthly challenges. There's another guy with an N or an X. It's the guy that speedruns the
Excuse me?
monthly challenges.
Wow, did you see that?
Yeah, that guy. He speedruns the monthlies and does a pretty good job. There's Kaflos. He hasn't done anything in a while, like a long while. He's kind of the same with Cacti, where they just have to focus on real life.
Close your eyes and dream with me. Stay back, dream.
So there's not a ton, but there are other people that are making content about it. Also, there's like Zate. I don't know what pronouncing an X is always a little off, but he does a lot of work on like breaking down all the monthly challenges and doing a lot of like Excel spreadsheets and stuff like that. So there's other people making content, even if it's not necessarily like YouTube content.
The sun rock got me good.
I don't know if Patib, let's go with that. I don't know if he streams. To be honest, I don't spend a lot of time on like the Reddit or looking at the other people that stream the game for the most part, because I mostly just try to focus and spend my time on my content, being like, okay, I need to focus on making nice stuff, and I don't really pay attention to necessarily what a lot of other people are doing. So I see stuff here and there, but normally if I'm thinking or doing stuff for Path of Champions, it's like, I need to make my content, and that's the main priority. Also, this card's like the best card in the game. It's so strong. Pick it up like every time you see it. It's so broken. To be honest, Path of Champions Reddit is fun. Yeah, I normally will look at it often, once a day, or like I'll normally glance at it every day. Sometimes I go a couple days without looking at it, but I normally try to stay on top of things, but it's not like it's not the highest of my priorities. But yeah, I know there's definitely a lot of people that are trying to support this game however they can. A lot of people are very passionate about it, so there's a lot of different content being produced to help the game, even if it's not as noticeable on like streams or YouTube and that sort of thing.
There a message from... Oh, hey, what's that?
Let's drop this here.
A little luck for those who need
Now that I target, it's probably gonna die. Oh, it didn't. There we go. All right, let's drop this. You gonna ask if Ash is gonna be released for Path? No, because that joke, I mean, it was maybe funny the first time. At this point, though, it's like I'm so over it. It's like, please stop. Yeah, Riot kept me like, oh, isn't this funny, guys? It's like, no. See you, Kata fan. And thank you. Yeah, I'm very, very excited.
Let's face the world.
Hopefully this is the start of many interviews with Riot. That is the hope, anyways. But we'll have to see. Alright, so anyone have any other questions they think I should try to bring up, or especially any like short rapid fire questions are also fine, because we'll maybe do a sort of rapid fire response.
be brave.
What's their plan for Vex? Yeah, that is one that I'm interested in. I feel like that's not really as much of a priority, because that's not as important as many other topics, but I think that's, I mean, you can still put some questions that aren't rapid fire. That's one that, like, it's like the bottom of the priority list. If I have time to ask more of these, then that's one of like, hey, this champion you released, it's cool in concept, didn't really play that well, kind of is underpowered, the starting deck doesn't really help your second star power at all, half the time your other star powers aren't even doing anything. So the interview is tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern time, so noon, 12 p.m., noon Eastern time.
Sleep quietly, dream well.
Tomorrow in 2 hours, yes. And yeah, anyone that can't get the interview will be posting it also on YouTube later that same day. Power creep champions like Vi, do they plan on doing something about it? I mean, yeah, I think that's another one that they probably want to do stuff about it. Nice, I'll be home at that time, so excited. I believe in you, Toasty. Yeah, just hoping everything goes well. Tomorrow in 2 hours means I'm dumb with dates and times. I mean, yeah, that's... There's always can be some confusion with different time zones and different dates, because like tomorrow's the 15th for me, but for some people maybe it's already the 15th. Let's try to get rid of that. In 26 hours. Yeah, tomorrow morning is just gonna be all prepping of like trying to think through everything and make sure everything is ready. I should have played Lilia. Oh well.
Of course I'm ready.
Formation.
Time to go.
Call for reinforcements.
No, not 2 hours from the usual time. 2 hours from now.
Now, where did that one run off to?
I'll also be trying to do, or like, I'm gonna schedule a post on like YouTube, and I'll try to post it on my Discord. Probably post it also on the Reddit, just so that people everywhere can see it and tune in.
Dreams bloom where hope takes root.
Oh, I missed you too.
We're doing it!
Oh, I still need to finish my monthlies on this account. How fun. I've been waiting more for the end of the month. I did the first like 10 or 20 though, just so I could get Aurelian Soul. That is going to be something else I bring up, asking like, hey, when's Aurelian Soul moving off of being the champion? Like, when's that going to happen? Are we planning on doing, like, what's the next champion going to be? You were planning on doing it really late because you have less content right now? I have to do it later because of the time zones, because it's a lot earlier from them. So 12 o'clock for me is like 9 in the morning for them. And then I'm just picked this date as what worked best for me and Brian.
We blew them all up!
Yeah, content that I have doesn't really factor in at the moment. Yeah, let's go for more Boom Crew. It is kind of funny. Hello, Pea Shooter. It is kind of funny sometimes who Riot like showcases. I think it's because they, the loose cannon. Sure. I forget if this actually costs money or not. Let's go ahead and go there. It is funny sometimes, yeah, who Riot decides to focus on in some of their like highlights when they're trying to highlight the community. And I think it's because they have a community all over the world, and so they're trying to highlight people from each region. But I know they did like a highlight thing like back in the new year, or like around December or something like that. And there's all these people like, I have never heard of a single one of these. Oh, it's kind of cracked me up. But yeah, I think it's just they're trying to do people from all over the world.
My first big mission.
They invited the big content creators once. Yeah, they did do something that I think like Sunny Grappler went and like saw the people at Riot, I think. Majin Bay. Yeah.
I hope this works.
Yeah, they need to fly me out to California. That's what they need to do for the interview. Oh, I would discard my bottle constellation. That's fine.
Rules are made to be broken. Like buildings, for people.
Yeah, the only content creators that I really know of for like the big ones, there used to be Swim that I always thought was hilarious, but he stopped making content, and then it's like Sunny and Grappler, and then yeah, I know there was like there's the couple people with M like Majin Bay and Mogwai, but I never really watched them. What is this build? It's kind of just a random loose cannon build because I don't have Jinx at 3 or level 30 yet. So you drop more Dreadways, so you discard more with your loose cannon payload, so you deal more damage. And then you have the mana from the Lost Chapter to play your double Death Rockets. It is 10 o'clock, well 10:11 where I am right now. So tomorrow and 2 hours, so 26 hours from now, will be live in the interview. When Jinx is summoned, create the loose cannon. Okay, not really telling me exactly what that is, and I kind of forget. It's been a while since I did the tutorial. Let's just get rid of that. Alright, Nautilus. And 2/3 of the people they invited stopped streaming LOR a week later. Yeah. Yeah, I know it's an exclusive Jinx node, and I know it's something that you could get in like the Jinx tutorial.
Anything else? Shouldn't have done that.
I really... Nautilus is another one I think would be fun for them to add. Granted, I don't know if they really want to go for the whole deep mechanic. But it'd be fun if they did.
Just wanted to play.
Had my Central Year 10 exam, subject German. Hope you did well. So I don't really care about it and didn't do much.
Danger fades.
Dreams bloom where hope takes.
Yeah, this is actually a very interesting time for Path of Champions, because since we're in this time of transition, we don't know what the future of the game is really going to look like. Because they said they're focusing on PvE, but we haven't actually seen those changes be implemented yet. So who knows what we're actually going to get.
Bring the others. Affirmative.
If you could make your own relic, what would it do and what rarity would it be? I mean, having a simple relic that's just like double attack, I think would be really fun. And it would probably have to be epic, because it's going to be too good for rare. Because I feel like that'd be on the same level as like a Gale Force. And so if it didn't have any drawbacks, it would have to be something that was probably like epic.
Oh boy! Yep, I'm flying.
Well, I think they're trying to rework the event pass so it makes sense for PvE. Like, yes, it is a little bit sad that they did get rid of it, but hopefully that's just because they are making it better. Double attack, strike, give me -1 power would be cool. I would actually maybe prefer it so it's a relic, that it's a double attack relic, and it gives you like -2, -3 power baseline, but every time you strike, your power goes up by 1. So it's bad at first, but as you attack, you get stronger and stronger. I mean, I think the issue was they made the emotes and they made all of that stuff beforehand, and they're like, we gotta use it. So at least they gave it all to us for free, though, because they're like really nice card backs. So that would be pretty cool. That makes strike on summon become prevalent. I mean, you could say strike while attacking. Like, +1 damage on strike while attacking gives you the bonus. If you really wanted to make sure people weren't going to do on summon relics. But, I mean, striking when you're summoned is pretty fun. That means champions with low attack power like Teemo won't be able to use the double attack. True. But those type of champions, it just means you maybe just want to pair it with a stat relic. That's actually another thing that I would like is a flat stat relic for epic. Just like
Are they afraid of us?
the Titan's Axe, where it gives you like 3/3. That sort of thing. Just being able to throw that on a champion if you're like, okay, I just want to give this person a whole bunch of stats, very simple, like kind of how the full build is. Like, it's really simple and straightforward. It's just giving you these bunch of keywords. A relic that's just like, hey, here's a bunch of stats. That'd be nice. If you had to make a discard relic, I don't really know. I've spent very little time thinking about making relics, because normally it just doesn't seem that useful, since it's like it's never going to happen. 3/1 or 1/3. No, I was thinking just 3/3. Just this unit has 3/3. A discard relic. It would maybe be interesting. It would be pretty simple, but you could maybe do a relic that essentially has the same mechanics as like Scion and some of his units. Let's search discard and do Noxus. It's not also factoring in like Scion. But potentially a relic that's on your champion that has an effect of when they're discarded. So like when I'm discarded, create a Risen Rider in hand. But you can maybe have it so like when I'm discarded, create a fleeting copy of me in hand. And then when you play it, they get some bonus. So whether that's bonus power, bonus health, they get specific keyword, something where you're having to focus on discarding them, so it's difficult, and then you're getting a fleeting copy in your hand. So like, okay, you have to plan around playing it this round, but then if you can pull that off, you get a really big payoff. Round start, choose a card to discard from your hand to create a random card from the opponent's hand. Interesting. Swap from owned. I mean, I own Scion. How do I not own? Oh, this is my low level account. That's why I forgot. I was like, I have all the cards, so. Right, I'm so, yeah. Forgot that this was my lower level one. To play me, discard one, or summon someone in range Yeti. So like Scion, he's one that you're discarding him and then you're placing him back into your deck. While that's fun, I think having more of a payoff of you discard it and then you get a copy in your hand still. Now it probably needs to be fleeting copy so that, I mean, otherwise you're just going to keep discarding it. Although that could be interesting too, of when I'm discarded, put a copy of me back in your hand and grant me just, make out something small like grant me 1/1. And so you're trying to scale up by constantly discarding the card and getting it back. So the more you discard, the more it scales up. And then you finally pull the trigger being like, okay, I'm going to drop this. And then bam, you have this massive unit because you discard it so many times. There's a card like that? No. Lady of Blood. When a non-fleeting ally in hand is discarded, create a fleeting copy of it in hand. Huh, look at that. They have something that already kind of does that. Also, this person is in the Vlad art. And this is the Crazy Surgeon guy. I do like it when they have, like, characters in other cards. But yeah, a similar effect to the Lady of Blood, but a relic that you'd put on your champion. So it's specific to your champion, not just all of your units. How I would wish for more of a multiplayer PvE event like raids. That's opt-in, but you don't have to. I mean, maybe I like PvE games where you still feel like you're part of a community. So one of like Helldivers is a game that recently came out, and there's like player events where like we need to liberate this planet, and so everyone has to work together to do it. Now you might be playing by yourself and just not playing with anyone else, but you're still working on liberating that planet. And so like having like community goals, so like a community goal of like, over this weekend we want to defeat this adventure like 10,000 times or whatever, scaled for how many people we should do. And so it gives you more of a reason to play. And like if the community can come together and complete this goal, then you all get like a special card back, or you all get like some shards or something. Community challenge like defeating Lysandra 1,000 times. Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. So it's stuff like that they definitely could do to give us more of a sense of community. I don't really want any multiplayer aspects. Like, to me, like maybe they'd implement co-op really, really well and I would love it. but by default, co-op has like no appeal to me. Any part where I actually have to play with other people, I don't really want to deal with that. But some aspects to try to bring the community together, so even though you're playing by yourself, you can still feel like you're more part of this overall community, and having community events, community goals, that would be totally worth doing to make it not as isolating, I guess. There was an event like that for Hearthstone. I believe they released it on one of the expansions, where you could queue into a boss card that had 10k XP or something like that, and you eventually decked out and lost, but everyone progression added together. See, that's cool. Like, that would be a fun event where it's not defeat this many times. It's here is one boss that you're all working on nuking down together. That'd be really fun, because then as it goes, you can see the boss's health slowly go down. For example, lore events, War of Ionia, Swain is the main boss, Scion is the mini boss, and you do the Hearthstone thing where Swain has like 10k HP or 100k. Yeah, there was that game mode where you could play with a friend versus AI. It was decent. It was decent. When Bandle City Adventure, yeah, that's potentially something to add. Or Ruination event, it's in the Shadow Isles, Vex is the mini boss, Viego is the boss. Honestly, they could do something where they kind of tell you the story of what's happened in this game. So maybe like going back in time, as far as like Noxus invading Ionia. Like, obviously that has already happened, but you could talk or like do a adventure that's progressing through what was happening at the time, or some of the bigger clashes throughout Runeterra's history. I think it's such a missed opportunity that there are no lore story campaigns in this game. Yeah, if they did that, that would be fun, because like these adventures, the lore doesn't really make sense, because you'll be going through an adventure and then suddenly it's like, here's a Freljord boss. Like, for example, Galio. The first boss of Galio is Zoe. That doesn't really make any sense. Why is Zoe there? The next boss is Viego, and it's like, okay, Viego did invade part of Demacia. I mean, he invaded everywhere in the Ruination, pretty much. But it's like, still doesn't really make sense as the mini-boss. Lyssandra's the only adventure that makes sense. Pretty much, yeah. So, trying to make more adventures where it actually makes sense logically. Like, the mini-boss here, we have Aurelia for Shurima. Like, Aurelia should be her own boss. Aurelia should be her own campaign. Why is she in Shurima? Tryndamere, why is he in Shadow Isles? Like, Shadow Isles is literally the opposite side of the world. Or, like, the map from Freljord. Like, Tryndamere should not be in Shadow Isles. Like, what in the world? But that's still there, so it's stuff like that that doesn't really make sense. That making more adventures like that would be better. Yeah, gameplay definitely took priority. And that's the thing, if they focus more on somewhat telling you a story through the adventures, then gameplay doesn't matter as much. They don't have to make everything as difficult as well. Noxus should be the mini boss in every nation. Why are the Freljordian men so naked? It's a tundra. We're a coat people. Yeah. I agree, though, at least with Lysandra, all the mini bosses are Freljordian. Yeah, like, Lysandra makes sense lore-wise, which is well, for the most part. There's a couple in there, like there's one There's the Zephyr Sage, which is Ionian, so that one doesn't make sense. And there's the Space Dogs. Space Doggos are in there. So there's a couple. There's a couple that don't work. Mini bosses, yes. The mini bosses are all Freljordian, though. There's a couple fights in there that aren't, which is a bit off. But for the most part, it's much more consistent than any other adventure, really. You can probably chuck Silas in Freljord too, since he's currently in Freljord. Yeah, that's something that makes sense, is like having some Noxus people in Ionia, or, well, I mean, yeah, Noxus people kind of everywhere, but some just don't make sense at all. Like Tridimir and Shadow Isles makes literally no sense. And then Aurelia and Shurima also doesn't really make any sense. Just dedicate half an episode in Arcane Season 2 to Kate and Vi playing LOR, and I guarantee the game's cache issue will be fixed. Alright, I think I will call it there. Thank you all for hanging out and helping bounce some ideas off me for the interview. So that's going to be, yeah, tomorrow in like an hour and a half from today. Should be very interesting. Hopefully we're going to get a lot of new information right there. Should be very exciting. Definitely tune in. But thank you all for hanging out, and see you later.